Good day, class. This is the part 1 of Module 2. So, today, um, i-discuss ko sa inyo ang understanding science and the scientific method. So, when we think of science, our minds often gravitate toward the physical sciences such as physics or chemistry. However, science is much broader, no? So, it encompassing at least three distinct domains: the physical, biological, and social sciences. So, each domain has its own unique focus, but all share a common commitment to understanding the world through systematic observation and analysis. Okay, for the physical sciences. So these sciences deal with the non-living components of the universe, such as atoms, molecules, stars, and geological formations. So, for instance, a physicist might study the behavior of light waves to better understand phenomena like rainbows or fiber optic communication. So, amo na siya nga ara sa physical sciences. So, that's one of the example ang ginhamba ko sa physicist that might study behavior of light waves na so dra na siya nabilong. Ang sa biological sciences, so this focuses on living organisms. So buhi ng mga organisms, no, living. So from plants to animals and explore their genetic makeup behaviors. Genetic makeup, their behaviors, and ecological relationships. So, for example, geneticists may study the DNA of plants to develop crops and that are more resistant to pests and diseases. So mga ara sa biological science for example nastudyuhan nila ang kung ano ang makapamayo sa tanom, sa other living things, no, na example makabuild sang resistant abe. Okay, so social sciences. Okay. So, these sciences investigate human behavior and societal structure. So, ano nga sa mga social sciences? We have the psychology, di ba? So, this is a prominent social science. Ang psychology might explore how social interactions influence mental health. So, for example, a psychologist could study on employee productivity. Okay? So, scientific thinking and the scientific method at the heart of all these fields in scientific thinking, which requires reasoning skills to formulate, test, and revise theories. So, it's also about cultivating an attitude of curiosity and skepticism. So, the scientific method provides a structure approach to inquiry consisting of 5 key steps. Ano mga key steps to maggamit ng scientific method? Okay. Una is to observe. The observation, so, is the starting point. So, researchers identify phenomena that intrigue them and develop theoretical frameworks to explain them. Okay, so for example, a psychologist observed that students who study in groups tend to perform better in exams. So, this leads to the theory that collaborative learning enhances knowledge retention. Okay, second, predict. So, a specific hypothesis is formulated. So, I hope you are familiar with the word hypothesis. Get to know this word because we're going to be using it no, permi gid. Okay, so a specific hypothesis is formulated. You are predicting, you are making an assumption that is hypothesis. So for example, a psychologist hypothesizes if students participate in group study sessions, they will score 10% higher on their exams compared to those who study alone. So that is an example of hypothesis. It is assuming that the participant, that the group study is 10% higher, no, sa results sa exams than those who study alone. So, okay, so example in isang hypothesis. Now next, we have the test. So researchers use established methods and tools to test their hypothesis. So example, no, nag-set na siya sang hypothesis. Now the researcher needs to test that hypothesis kung tuod man siya. Okay, kung sakto gid man. So, for example, the psychologist conducts an experiment where one group of students studies alone and another group studies in pairs, ensuring that the test materials and conditions are consistent and reliable. So, after the test, what we're going to do, we are going to interpret. So, data is analyzed. Kung ano ang results ng test, the data will be analyzed from it to determine if the hypothesis is supported. Kung ang gin-hypothesis ng psychologist na 10% higher, supported gid man sa data nga gin-analyze. So, for example, a statistical analysis shows that students who studied in pairs scored on average 12% higher than those who studied alone. That confirms the hypothesis. Kay gani ang hambal sa hypothesis 10% lang but it confirms that it is higher 12% sa according naman sa results sa statistics. Okay, let's go to communicate. Okay, so finally, researchers share their findings with broader community. So, for example, the psychologist publishes the study in an academic journal and presents the result at a conference on education psychology. So, importance of the scientific method. By adhering to the systematic process, ano to gani mga systematic process, you go over with the video again, okay? So, the scientists ensure that their conclusions are not based on biases or random occurrences. So, but on evidence that is reproducible and verifiable. So, for example, the discovery of penicillin, no, by Alexander Fleming, so began with an accidental observation, but it was tested, and the communication was transformative into groundbreaking medical advancement. So, in sum, sa katutalan sinin sang aton nga lesson, science is not just about discoveries, no? It is a disciplined method of understanding the world underpinned by critical thinking and a structured approach to inquiry. Ano ganitong structure approach to inquiry ta? We have those scientific method. So, we test our hypothesis. Okay? So, whether ma-confirm siya or magwa siya nga otherwise. Okay? So, whether it's studying the galaxies, the genetics or of a plant, so or human behavior, the scientific method, again hamba ko kagina, provides a reliable pathway to knowledge. So, kung kita naga-inquire kita, naga-research kita, 'di ba, naga-test kita to validate or to have its reliability. Okay? So, that's it, class. It is important that kung sa science gani, the kung ano ginastudyan, gina-test gid or gina-experiment to. Okay. So, that's all for a short lesson for Module 2, Part 1.